Your body, your blast.
Whenever you come to the Bronx, there's always a buzz.
The Toronto Blue Jays meet the New York Yankees. It'll be game 2 of this 4-game series. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. will lead off for the 9th time this season. Tyone rocks into the windup, and his first pitch is in the air out to deep right field. Cabrera back, and it is caught! Caught by Cabrera! What a play! Teoscar jolts one high in the air. Icy. Judge back at the wall.
Yo, that one gotta go.
He stops, he looks up.
That one gotta go!
It's gone!
I don't want to!
A majestic drive off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez.
That was a bomb.
Kevin Gausman, meanwhile, will take the baseball for the 23rd time this season.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Strike 3 called. Fastball right at the knees.
Another strikeout for Kevin Gausman.
7 brilliant innings from Gausman. Troubles continue for the Bombers.
The Blue Jays blank them in the Bronx, 4-0.
Spectacular day in New York, but when you head north of Manhattan, it's unraveling in the Bronx, and the Jays are happy to contribute the last 2 days anyway. The Yankees have lost 14 of their last 18. The Jays are excited. The Yankees are on edge, including the fans booing everything. Maybe not the Golden Knights U.S. Army parachute team that brought in the game ball, but somebody on Yankees Twitter said, could they parachute Boone out while they're at it? That's the mood. In New York, it's Blue Jays Central along with Joe Siddall. Again, I'm Brad Fay in for Jamie Campbell. The thoughts of Joe in a moment, but first let's get to what is the big story now. The Blue Jays playing good baseball. It's 3 in a row. They beat the Yankees 4-0 last night to make it 2 straight in the Bronx. Teoscar Hernandez with a 2-run home run in the 4th. Gausman, 7 strong innings. This is a continuing trend for the Jays of late. And all of a sudden, they've won 3 straight. Is there pressure on the Yankees? Well, perhaps not yet. The Jays are within 8 games. That's the closest they've been since June 13th. They feel like if the Yankees are saying to each other, win the next 2, the division's on ice, lose the next 2, and suddenly it's in play. But the Jays have to worry about all those teams in the mix in the wild card as well. Here's John Schneider post-game last night on the recent turnaround.
Talk about where we were over the weekend. Compared to where we are right now, it's a whole different story. So baseball's funny like that, and that group in there is feeling pretty good.
That urgency was kind of lacking at certain points during the season, but where we're at now, I think we all know, 50-some games left. We gotta strap it on. Now we gotta go.
It was a blowout on Thursday. Jays in complete control last night. Nobody on the Yankees got beyond second base. What does Game 3 bring? Here's Arash Madani with Shai David.
Yeah, Brad, wasn't that an interesting quote from Kevin Gausman to say maybe early in the season, Shai, the urgency wasn't there, but now this group is feeling it. Here they are at the end of August in a wild card race against a division opponent that's scuffling. And you think back to Thursday when Matt Chapman said, it would be dumb to think that this series did not mean more than some of the others along the way. So with urgency, it doesn't mean you try harder necessarily, but with urgency, when you get really good pitching and a really good plate approach, you start to get results.
Yeah, and what you've seen is a syncing up of play, and you're right, trying harder in this game is probably the worst thing that you can do, trying to get too amped up. And what we've seen driving this is really process, especially at the plate. You think about the type of at-bats the Blue Jays have been having. They've been disciplined, they've been patient, they've been willing to hand the baton on to the next guy, that take a walk if you're not going to get your pitch, you can't drive something, let someone else get the chance, trust in the guy behind you. Those are kind of things that have been inconsistent for this team at times.
Yeah.
And, talking to Ross Stripling earlier today, he said that urgency, however you want to translate it, really is driven by a sense that this team understands that they can't just roll out and out talent clubs. They've got to grind. They've got to do the little things. And all that has really come together over these past 3 games. And you've seen them, because of that, really dictating the pace of play, the way games have played out. And all that has really added up to a big difference.
It's really interesting when you talk about urgency, because we spoke with Teoscar Hernandez last night after his home run, a couple of nights after the extra base hit, the add-on run. What Teoscar say? Urgency means patience. So it's a little different when it comes to baseball. And remember, it was here in New York that George Springer got things going with a 5-for-5 night, but it was also in the same game that he took the foul ball off the knee, and he has not played. He did not play last night, will not be in the lineup again today. Went out there. He is available to pinch hit. And again, the Blue Jays are saying this has nothing to do with the elbow. It may have something to do with the elbow, but the knee's bothering him too.
Right, the knee is the issue here, and he was doing some running before the game under the watchful eye of head trainer Jose Ministral, and there's still a little bit of gingerness, but is moving better. And one of the things that John Schneider said that I thought was really interesting is that if this was a night game, they felt that there might have maybe been enough recovery time in there for George to get back into the lineup, just to feel a little bit better, get some of that pain and discomfort out of the knee, let that work its way through. But because of the fact that it is a day game, they're going to take a little bit more time with him, use him off the bench if an opportunity arises, and hope that he's going to be in the lineup for them on Sunday.
A day game where Mitch White gets the start. He was acquired at the trade deadline from the Dodgers. I spoke with Danny Jansen a little earlier. He likes the heaviness of the fastball and the two-seamer and the slider too. The Blue Jays are also pleased with how White showed some composure. When things didn't start well, when he made his first outing against Cleveland, he was able to rebound. The walk right off the hop didn't bother him. And it's interesting because there's also not a pitch count on Mitch White. He is built up. He is all systems go.
Yeah, and this is when he came over, he was in a little bit of a gray zone there. The Dodgers, he'd just been demoted, and he was in between starts, so he was built up but not fully. He had a bit of a rest period, so the Blue Jays wanted to perhaps ease him into things, but they really like him. He's somebody that they targeted, that even if they had acquired another starter, I still think the Blue Jays would have tried to make this deal, because they viewed him as somebody who was a bit under the radar of the Dodgers. I mean, it's good to be the Dodgers when Mitch White is your surplus.
And Ross Stripling a couple of years
exactly.
before. Yeah.
But you think about it, it's fastball, it's in the 95-mile-an-hour range. It's a power slider. A power curveball has got a chance to be effective too. A changeup. It's a promising mix, and the Blue Jays, part of their thinking was, we'll bring him here and start out in a swingman role, but the Blue Jays do feel that he can be a starter, and that if given some runway, that he could hold a spot in the rotation, because he's durable, he's got that resilience that you mentioned, and really it's a matter of refining some of the pitches a little bit and getting a more consistent command in the zone with them. So he reeled it back in after 7 straight balls in that Cleveland outing, and the Blue Jays like that composure. If he can maintain that, he's got an opportunity to stick in the rotation and not just be an emergency fill-in for Yusei Kikuchi.
You know what's amazing? We're 7-8 minutes into this pregame show. We haven't even mentioned Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who, Brad, by the way, just became the youngest Blue Jay ever to get to 500 base hits. Milestone night for him here in New York yesterday.
Indeed, guys, and to be precise, those 500 hits at 23 years, 156 days as he shakes past Lloyd Moseby. In case you're wondering, Vlad Jr. got his 500 hit in game 461. Vlad Sr. got his 500 in game 419. That's the lineup for the Blue Jays. And Joe, you were, I guess, confused after Thursday's game, saying the approach that the Yankees took pitching to this Jays lineup. And here we are. 2 games later, what are we going to see today?
Well, we've seen opposing pitchers the last couple of weeks really spin the ball against the Blue Jays hitters and had success. A lot of cutters, sliders, breaking balls down and away. Frankie Montas, for some reason, went with this fastball. But you look at the numbers overall, what they have seen this season. First in Major League Baseball, hitting .290, but right around 50% fastballs that they've seen. But look at the 39% of pitches, breaking balls. And I include cutters as breaking balls along with curveballs and sliders. Hitting .233, still respectable, 11th in the league. But when you see what's gone on over the last couple of weeks, in fact, since August the 6th, fastball usage, they're seeing fewer fastballs, but it's right still around that, and they're still hitting the fastballs. But look at the breaking balls, went from 39% to 46%, and they're working, hitting just 175, slugging just 247. For some reason, Frankie Montas thought, I'm going with my fastball against these guys in game 1 of the series. And Arash, I'll mention Vladdy's name. It was his 3-run homer that put them up 3-0 early. But when we look at what Jamison Tyone did to these Blue Jays in last night's game, I thought he had a much better approach. He used his breaking balls, a lot of his curveballs and cutters and sliders away to righties, and he did it quite successfully. Now, you can continue to attack hitters this way. Of course, you have to mix in the fastball. You can't just throw all breaking balls, but it's the way you mix it. If you're 45, 50% fastballs along with those breaking balls, sure, but they also hit some fastballs pretty hard. Now, this team, they don't just ding you with base hits normally when they beat you with fastballs. They can hit the ball out of the park, trying to go away to Teoscar Hernandez, and it leaks over the middle of the plate, and he leaves the ballpark. It put the Blue Jays up. And that's what did it for them. With Gausman pitching the way he did, they only needed the 4 runs. The big challenge would be against Cole today. High velocity. I still think he's going to spin it against them.
All right, we look forward to see how that all plays out because, will Joe still be confounded at the end of this one? Will the Jays continue the win streak? And, boy, they travel well. The fans from Toronto, why wouldn't you want to be in the Bronx on a beautiful sun-drenched Saturday? Stay with us as Joe will explain how Mitch White can continue to keep it going for the Jays after this.